Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into the News 10 Plus desk. I'm Taylor Gattoni with Nicole Buckman on this Thursday.
Yes, hello. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, Friday, Junior. We are almost there.
We're trucking along. It's a gloomy day outside, but the spirits are high here at WILX, here in Studio 10. We have a great show for everyone. We are kicking it off with poetry. You know, we talked a lot about how January is National Hobby Month, and I feel like poetry is a little bit more than a hobby, but we're excited to bring in some local poets, and they're going to talk a little bit about poetry, how, you know, sometimes it can be intimidating. It's not like, you know, roses are red, violets are blue, like, you know, but it can be a form of journalism, or journalism, but journaling and expressing your thoughts. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit with them, and they're going to perform some spoken word for us. So we're excited for that. It's kind of a different thing on the Studio 10 stage. And from the power of words to kind of like a powerful program as part of our You're Not Alone campaign, Claudia went over to Angie's house, or Angie's place, which is a new one, and it's underneath the umbrella of Endeavor. So talking a little bit about what's going on there, how it's helping with transitional housing with substance abuse and alcoholism. So we're going to go over that as well. And it's just cool just to kind of hear other people's stories and hear how you're not alone, and like the positive things that come out of that. Yeah. You know, and starting that conversation. Yeah, and that's just, those are like kind of the things at heart for our show today. And then we also have, we're starting a new segment called The Legal Answer. So a lot of the times, you know, things with legal, lawyers, can be over our heads.
Very in that too, yes.
Yes. And so it's nice that when we have local lawyers willing to come in, bust some myths, talk us through things, and then if you guys have questions at home, we have a way that you can contact us so we can go over your questions and get them answered literally through our show. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So we love that communication. So yeah, but that's basically Studio 10 today.
Sounds good. There's a lot going on.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Yes.
Well, you can always stay up to date with Studio 10. Of course, they're on at 3 o'clock today. We'll let you get back to it. Nicole, I know you're busy.
Yeah.
But here's where you can stay up to date with Studio 10. Here are their socials. And you just have to look up at WILX Studio 10. If you go to their YouTube page, that is a great place to go. In fact, give me a second here, and I will look it up for you so you can see what I'm talking about when you look them up on YouTube. Oh, and it's not connected. Never mind, I can't show you. Anyways, go figure it out yourself. It's very easy. At WILX Studio 10, you watch back any of their previous segments. They're great about posting those videos on all of their pages. So go check it out if you can't watch them today at 3 o'clock. Or hey, maybe there was something you saw earlier in the week that you want to go back and rewatch, or send it to someone else because it's a crafty idea. Go check it out on Studio 10. And we have Colton Cichoracki standing by us because it is another foggy, gloomy day.
Yeah, and it's rinse and repeat from what we've seen the past couple of days. And we'll see another day like this tomorrow, but the weekend looks a tad better. But we still don't have any sunshine in the forecast, maybe not until the middle to end of next week.
Oh, no.
So it's going to be a while before we see some more sunshine out there. And what we saw today is that the dense fog advisory was extended until 10 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to have that. In fact, we want to show you some of that fog.
Some of it, that is a lot.
Yeah, so this is our 127 Skycam. This is situated right on the Ingham-Clinton County border. So this is facing off towards Lansing. And you can see that there's the fog back in place, just kind of dreary outside. And we've been seeing the fog in other places. A little bit better there in East Lansing, but still, you can see Spartan Stadium kind of covered up in the fog a little bit right now, as we are seeing visibilities across mid-Michigan down below a mile still. It's pretty incredible. Typically fog, you see it kind of fade away once you get into the morning because the sun comes up and it starts to get rid of some of the fog, but that just has not been the case. And this is advection fog. That's what the technical term for it is. And basically advection is the movement of wind. And what we've been seeing is the warm air come over the cold ground that allows the air to saturate, and that's why you see the fog develop. So that's why we have the fog in the first place, and it's been pretty incredible. I saw something on social media today from another meteorologist that if I were to show you the dense fog advisories for the entire country, most of the country is under a dense fog advisory right now. In fact, it was like a record-setting amount of dense fog advisories across mid-Michigan. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So it's not just us, but it was because we got cold, and then now we're warming right back up across the entire country, basically. So that's why there is that the fog that's been across the area. Now, as we move beyond today, what we're going to be tracking is some chances at seeing some rainfall, especially as we head into tonight and into the day on Friday. Now, right now, not much going on. Maybe some drizzle out there in spots, but as I zoom this out, look at all this moisture that's down to our south. This is what's going to move in later on today and into tonight and bring us around to some heavier rainfall. And so we got to keep an eye on this because some areas will pick up more than a half inch of rain and maybe upwards of an inch in some spots. So this could be leading to some minor river and creek flooding across mid-Michigan, specifically on a few rivers, which I'll show you just in a second, of where we're going to be watching that for. So looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, the rain should move in probably 7, 8 o'clock or so this evening from south to north, and then spread northward from there. And overnight tonight, you can see those yellows and oranges and reds. That's showing some of the heavier rainfall that's expected tonight. And then it'll be quick to move out, though, so it's only going to be for a few hours that we'll see this rain, and by tomorrow morning it's out of here. But we may still see a little bit of some shower activity even as we head into the afternoon on Friday, but it's not going to be quite as widespread as what we'll see tonight. So I want to show you an updated look at our rainfall totals. A nice amount of rain. So over an inch of rain in some areas is certainly possible with this, and that's not a terribly heavy amount of rain, but given the fact that we've had the snow melt and given the fact that we've seen quite a bit of rain already this week, that's why flooding may become a concern in some parts of mid-Michigan.
Yeah, even on the roadways, I was seeing some giant puddles even last night, and I was, had to slow down, make sure there wasn't water splooshing everywhere.
Yeah, and you can see right here that these are the rivers that we need to watch for potentially getting up to Bankful and maybe leading to some minor flooding along the river. So the Looking Glass River near DeWitt, the Red Cedar River towards East Lansing and the Sycamore Creek. May also see the Maple River in northern Clinton County also get close to that. So we'll keep an eye on all this. Not expecting anything major here, but watch if you live along one of these rivers or live near one of these rivers. Just keep an eye out because they could rise a bit over the coming days. Now, as we look at the weekend, we will dry out. Saturday, Sunday, cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 30s. There has been a potential for a storm system to come in on Sunday that will try to bring us some rain or snow, but it's trending further south and east. So I left the forecast dry. We'll see if that shifts back north, but at this point, it doesn't look all that likely that we'll see anything fall from the sky this weekend. And then moving forward, it's all about the warmth. We have highs in the 30s and then eventually some 40s in here by the time we start the month of February next week. We'll have temperatures in the lower 40s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you're looking for some more snow, we're losing the snow quickly. There's barely any left on the ground. We just don't have a lot coming our way anytime soon. In fact, temperatures are going to be well above average for this time of year. So we're kind of getting back into that weather pattern that we saw at the beginning of the winter with very little chance for snow and warm temperatures. So there's really not a whole lot going on beyond today, or beyond tonight, I should say, in terms of significant weather to impact us, and it is trending warmer. I will say, some of our models do suggest that maybe towards the middle part of February that things could change back to some colder conditions, but we'll keep an eye on that. Typically, we do see some snow, obviously, this time of year, especially into February, but nothing coming, nothing major anytime soon.
Okay, well, something that you had on your graphic yesterday was that next Friday is Groundhog's Day, if you can believe it. Mm-hmm. So, our meteorologists, I think you do a better job than the groundhogs. Would you say that spring is coming, or we are going to get more winter? Or is it hard to tell?
It's hard to tell, especially with the fact that it's been an El Nino. Mm-hmm. Those do typically fade away quickly, but depending on how quickly that happens, because it is forecast to go away, it's still up in the air at this point. So it's hard to say. If I were to throw something out there, I would say maybe an early spring this year, but we'll watch that. It's too early to determine that. And who knows, this winter could end up giving us quite a bit of snow in February, even into March. So that's something we'll have to watch out for.
Yeah, all right. Well, we will keep an eye on that. Mm-hmm. We'll see what the groundhog predicts next Friday. But of course, you can always get your latest First Alert forecast updates on the First Alert weather app. But just one more time, 10-day temperature trend if you want to check that out. And now I will show you the First Alert weather app if you want any of those updates.
Well, and I'm pretty sure, too, looking at the forecast for next week, too, that on Groundhog's Day that there could be maybe some breaks in the clouds. Oh. So if the groundhog does see its shadow and then runs back in, that does mean more winter. So we'll keep an eye on that. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Groundhog Day fan. I don't think any meteorologist is.
No.
I think it's good fun, but some people do take it a little too seriously. And just because the groundhog says something does not necessarily mean it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's all good fun.
Yes, maybe he got scared by something and then he ran back in, or you never know.
Right.
It's a groundhog.
But we do have our own, right? And Howell.
What's its name?
Woody.
Yes.
Woody the woodchuck.
Oh, Woody the
Yeah,
woodchuck.
so we do have our own in mid-Michigan, so we'll see what he has to say too.
Oh, I prefer you over Woody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, maybe
You can talk too.
Maybe Friday morning we'll have to see if I see my shadow or something like that outside.
That'll be fun. We'll have to see.
Yes.
All right. Well, you will see Colton at 3 o'clock for Studio 10, and then followed by First at 4. Here's what is coming up on First at 4 today, and then our 90 minutes of news, starting with Mid-Michigan Matters. We are bringing in Chris Swope, the Lansing City Clerk, to talk about absentee voting and ballots. So if you were like me, you went to check your mail earlier this week, and you went, oh, I got an absentee little ballot. We're going to tell you more on what you need to know about that if you are voting absentee, what you need to know with your ballots, and then also what to know when it comes to actually voting. So making sure that you're getting out there. Again, this is a very big election year, especially the presidential election coming up toward the end. So, and Michigan being one of the first states to vote for that. So we're going to tell you more about what you need to know coming up during Mid-Michigan Matters today on First at 4. Again, this regards absentee voting and ballots. Coming up News 10 at 5, we'll share how $500,000 is going to help students at MSU with their mental health care following last year's shooting on campus. Again, that shooting February 13th, not too far away from right now, just a couple of weeks away. So $500,000 helping students, staff, faculty, first responders who have any of those mental health services. They can get that reimbursement while it is still available. We'll tell you how you can get that coming up News 10 at 5 today. Coming up News 10 at 5:30, Amaya Kuznicki recaps day 1 of the trial of Jennifer Crumbly. That is the mother of the Oxford High School shooter who is being charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Coming up News 10 at 6, and as part of our You're Not Alone Health series, David Andrews shares how people are battling addiction and shares his personal struggle with the denial, the shame, and the stigma. So we're also with that talking about alcoholism and how it does not discriminate against any age. So you'll want to tune in coming up News 10 at 6 to learn more as part of our You're Not Alone Mental Health series. Now with that, I do want to show our You're Not Alone Mental Health series little full screen here, and it'll have a QR code pop up in just maybe 10 seconds here. You'll see that QR code pop up, and then you can scan that QR code with your cell phone's camera. It'll pull up a list of resources around the Mid-Michigan area where you can find some of that help, get those resources. So whether it's behavioral, counseling, therapy, anything like that, you can go to this QR code, pull up those resources, and then also if you call or text the Lifeline chat number, that number is 988. Again, that number is 988. And if you are a veteran, you can press option number 1. That'll connect you to another veteran so you can share your personal experience with someone who has gone through a similar experience and better understand you and present you with better resources to improve your mentality. So that is our You're Not Alone Mental Health series. Again, David Andrews sharing that story coming up News 10 at 6. You heard Nicole Buckman also talking about it, and they will also have talking about the stigma of alcoholism and addiction coming up on Studio 10 at 3 o'clock today. And then you can expect a lot more You're Not Alone Mental Health series stories from community members about their own anxiety, depression, stress, suicidal thoughts, or even from health experts on prevention and treatment and saving lives. So this is what you can look forward to all year long here on News 10. It is our You're Not Alone Mental Health series. We do have Tanaya Jordan out and about, and she's going to share what she has coming up today, News 10 at 5. Tanaya.
Good afternoon. In case you missed it, in Governor Whitmer's 6th State of the State address, she announced free preschool for all 4-year-olds across the state. I'm out in Charlotte talking to a preschool teacher about the difference she makes in young lives. Find out more coming up today on News 10 at 5. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Tanaya. More on that, again, News 10 at 5. So that is what you can expect today. Coming up on First at 4 in our 90 minutes of news, and you heard Nicole Buckman previewing Studio 10, which is coming up in just over 40 minutes here. But also Colton talking about the dense fog advisory that has actually extended until 10 p.m. tonight. Right now you're taking a live look over US 127 where you are in fact seeing that dense fog. And so if you are out on the roadways, this might be reducing your visibility. Take your time, no rush, and yeah, just be cautious of where you're driving with all the fog. It can greatly reduce your visibility on the roadways. So that is what we have coming up today on News 10. We hope you join us for the rest of our newscast. Stay safe out on the roadways and have a great rest of your Thursday.